The beauty industry has lost it by Busiswa? Maybe? I'm probably mispronouncing this. I am so sorry. I am or Busiswa? I'm so sorry. I might when we got to go enjoy melting away, fellow human. Yeah, enjoy, you too, enjoy it. Enjoy being turned into literal liquid. But yeah. Well, we're gonna look at this. Let's see if the beauty industry. I mean, is it actually that surprising? They've lost it a while ago. Like, haven't they? I mean, we're at the point where even the men are doing it, right? With the with the leg lengthening surgery and the hammer shit. That is all at the end of the day, just like a beauty industry.
I've heard my fair share of nuts trends, but this might actually top the lot. People
Zombie filler?
are injecting themselves with the fat from dead people.
They're using it.
Okay, I guess we are doing this then. I guess we are.
For cosmetic procedures to add youthfulness to the skin, but it's from people who used to be alive.
I don't know for what reason, I never put it together that you can get your hip dips and breast augmentation and so on and so forth with the fat from people that have passed on and have donated.
That is just outrageous. But I guess we are at this point now. We are indeed doing that. Phew. That's something.
Them. It never clicked. And when it did, I wish I was still Patrick living under a rock and not knowing this, because what do you mean? Also, I've always wondered people that are thin and then get BBLs, where that fat was coming. It's too much. My brain couldn't take it, and that is why we're here today. There are people calling this a zombie BBL, which I get, but honestly, I think it's a little insensitive because people that have passed on are not zombies, unless y'all think that. Do y'all think that? And then other people are calling it corpse.
That's just weird. It's just weird.
Cosmetics. Either way, I needed a moment, and clearly I need one again. Oh no! As always, full disclaimer, this video is for educational and commentary purposes only. I am not a doctor, I'm not a surgeon, I'm not in the medical field, I'm just a woman who is deeply fascinated by these things and also a little taken aback at times. Nonetheless, I like to do the research and yap about it, so let's get into it. The product is called Aloe Clay. It is made by a company called Tiger Biosciences. And just so y'all know, because I was curious too, this is not some brand new startup, because that would be very interesting. Tiger Biosciences has been in the medical tissue space for a long time. They already make wound care products, and they have been working with cadaver-derived tissue in medical settings for years and years. Aloe Clay, however, is their pivot into cosmetics, and it hit the
Oh god. Here we go. Stream what? ICTRA Union.
US in 2024, with demand exploding through 2025 and right now. It's pretty much this injectable filler made from purified human fat harvested from cadavers, donated cadavers, human beings who have.
That is so weird. That is so morbid. That is so weird and morbid. That is so fucking, that is just morbid. I'm sorry, but that just is. That's just weird and morbid.
Passed away and donated their bodies. Now, before anyone comes at me, I understand that cadaver tissue has been used in medicine for a long time. Bone graft in dental surgery, heart valve replacement, skin grafts for burn victims, ligaments and tendon reconstruction for athletes, cornea transplants in order to restore someone's vision. The list goes on and on and on. Cadaver tissue has genuinely saved lives, and it has truly restored function for people who had no other choice.
But that's not the same. Injecting fat from deceased people is different from needing new parts because something isn't working properly that you could walk. You'd have to cut it out before it rots, right? I'm assuming that that is the case. That is just so weird. I'll be real. That is odd, right? That is just so morbid.
That part, I know. I didn't think that the list would one day include filling someone's hip dips so their yoga pants fit better.
There are so many athletic women out there that have just a little bit of depression on the sides of the hips that make their Lululemons and their yoga pants kind of look a little bit funny. Filling that area in with AlloClay when you don't have fat somewhere else is a great option to round that out and give you much more shape to your buttocks.
I genuinely didn't think we would ever get here. And yet, we are here. Now, some of y'all may be like me and are probably wondering, well, why can't living people just donate? Why does it have to come from somebody that has passed away? And to answer that question very simply is living fat donations to a stranger has no legal road, it has no medical precedent, and no established framework. So in medicine, when fat is taken from a living person, it is always transferred back into that same person, never into someone else, which, now that I think about it, it does kind of make sense. Taking fat from one living person to inject into someone completely different for cosmetic purposes would open up an enormous amount of liability, consent complexity, and safety concerns that no one has worked out, at least not yet. And I can already see some folks probably thinking, you know what, I could probably volunteer my own fat, and hey, a win is a win, bro. But the liability is just too much, at least for now. Who
I just think that is just incredibly weird. I'm sorry, but to me that's just odd and weird and kind of like, why are we exactly doing this? Sorry, but I just think this is odd, right? There's in my opinion no need for that. That's just my humble opinion. That's just weird. I'll say it the way it is. This is weird.
knows what may happen in the next few years or tomorrow? No one knows. It's too much. Cadaver donations, on the other hand, already had an established legal and medical system behind it, such as organ donation, tissue banking, regulated standards that have existed for decades. AlloClay essentially plugged into that existing infrastructure. It's pretty much the path AlloClay took of least resistance legally as well as logistically. Now, there's also a processing reason when it comes to all of this. The fat needs to have all living cells removed before it can be used. And when you think about it, a cadaver is the cleanest source for that because the tissue can be fully processed without needing to keep any of it viable for the original person. So basically, they used what was available, which also means as long as the procedure exists, it will depend entirely on supply of deceased donors. As far as I could tell, there is no alternative source on the horizon. So don't think you can give your friend or your family member some of your fat.
This is all done through donors
Get a hold of my fat here. You can have it.
who have consented to donate their body for this. And for the longest time, the fat was being thrown away. And one day someone came along and says, what if we use this for reconstructive purposes, for cosmetic purposes? And someone said, let's make it happen. And that's the beauty of this product.
Here's how the procedure itself works, and I thought it was kind of interesting because the downtime is very, very low, and I see why a lot of people would be interested in it. The harvested fat has its living cells removed, as I've mentioned, and what remains is a structural framework, a three-dimensional scaffold. When injected into your body, your own cells grow into that framework, and the result is new volume. So technically, what ends up living inside you is your own fat, and the donor's tissue is just the structure your body builds around. And instead of your traditional BBL, which requires general anesthesia, liposuction, real surgery, and real recovery, this is an in-office procedure. There's no surgery, there's no anesthesia, just convenience, and that is exactly how they are selling it. And if you're also like me, then you know that some things always have a
It sounds too good to be true, so there must be a downside. That's usually, right, what I'm thinking, right? It sounds too good to be true, so there must be something wrong with this, right? Because, like, you know, Usually you wouldn't expect for it to work this well. Yeah, I'm smelling something is wrong. Something is off, and we're gonna see it probably.
A catch. And this, in my opinion, has a catch because if your pockets are already empty, don't even look at the aloe clay's direction. This starts at 10K and can reach up to 100K, maybe even more depending on volume and the areas that you'd like shaped. So what's really trippy is that after spending 10 to 100K, it's not a one-time thing. Doctors are recommending that you get top-ups every 6 weeks to 3 months. So that $10,000 you're spending is just the entry fee, just the entry point. Just so you can say, I got some aloe clay, but I may need more later. So if your pockets are already dry, do not.
So the only downside is the financial aspect because, well, you won't be able to afford this. At least the gate keeps people. Now, I just think it's weird. Honestly, I just think it's super odd. That's all I can say. I believe it's odd.
Turn them into a desert. And the demand is real. It was shocking to me. Dr. Sachin, he is a plastic surgeon in Manhattan who was among the first to offer aloe clay and confirmed that his clinic has run out of product multiple times because of how high the demand has been. And then plastic surgeon.
Many of us in New York City are very excited about this, particularly because our patients are sometimes very thin or maybe have already had liposuction. It's sort of off-the-shelf fat. You can use it in any part of the body. It is going to be approved for the face, but right now it's just for the body.
It's an entire pipeline. GLP-1 makes people thin, or even exercising makes people thin, or dieting makes people thin. If that is the goal, GLP-1 definitely. Thin people have no fats of their own. No fat means they need somebody else's. It is literally a cycle. Now, I watched 3 different doctors explain this product and I came away with 3 slightly different pictures.
There is no risk of rejection. This is just the structure of fat. There is no living elements. Remember, what this product is doing is stimulating your body to grow new fat cells in the area to help plump and volumize. Because it's your fat cells that are living and not the actual cadaver cells, there is no risk of rejection. One of the things that's important whenever you're injecting anything into the buttocks is you've got to use ultrasound to guide the injection. Here's the deal. We have very large veins in the buttocks. And so if you're not careful with where you are injecting fat, or in this case, aloe clay, that product can migrate into those large veins and then migrate to the heart and lungs and have really bad problems.
Really bad problems? That is a very, very calm way of describing.
That's also very, very vague. What do you mean? Bad problems, big problems, bad problems, whatever. What do you mean by that? This is just, I don't know. I think this is weird. I think this is way too weird. I think this is way too weird. That's all. I think this is way too weird.
Describing death. I'm sorry.
So the way we prevent that is we use an ultrasound always in our office to monitor our cannula. We want to make sure that we are well away from those veins. And so if you look at the anatomy of the buttocks, we're built with skin, fat, muscle, and then those big veins down deep. We're going to be injecting using the ultrasound, knowing 100% of the time that we are above the muscle, below the fat, so that we are well away from those big, large veins down low, so there is no risk of embolism.
You could not say there is no risk and then describe the risk in the same answer.
Fillers in your buttocks didn't work that well. They were extremely expensive. They didn't last that long. They either didn't work. And the one that did, which was mainly a silicone injection, frankly had really bad side effects from infections and inflammatory disease that it's illegal in the US and in most parts of the country. But that's all changed now that we have aloe clay. We typically start low and go slow with aloe clay. And we do that for a couple different reasons. How much product do you need? It's a really good question. For most people, we find that we like to use at least 25 cc's per side. So we break the buttocks into 4 main areas. Top of the butt, side of the butt, or the hip dips, middle of the butt, or projection, and then finally, bottom of the butt. And we don't typically inject a lot of fat into the bottom of the butt because it can square the buttocks out, so it's extremely rare that we do it, but it can happen from occasion. Top of the buttock creates that nice sort of shelf or differentiation from back to buttock, and we do fat injections there a lot. Again, we like to start 25 cc's per each of those areas. Hip dips, we like to start 25 cc's. And when we're trying to get projection, we place it into the central buttocks. Again, we start 25 cc's per side. Now, we absolutely can add more, or if you're someone who just really wants volume to the top of the buttocks and say, listen, I'd rather just put 100 cc's per side to get a good shape change, we can.
Now, this doctor
Right, she's explaining to me how to fill up booty cheeks. That's it.
was more technical and honestly more transparent than the first clip. He explained the volume math clearly. 25 cc of aloe clay has roughly the same visual impact as 100 cc of regular fat because of how concentrated and firm the product is. That is actually useful, and his start low and go slow approach at least acknowledges that this is still being figured out. But here is what I cannot let slide. He casually mentioned that the last popular butt filler, which was silicone injections, got banned in the US because of severe infections as well as inflammatory disease, and then immediately said, but that's all changed now with aloe clay. I'm sorry, but you can't just breeze past that, okay? Because I have questions and what?
Cement BBL next? Possibly, right? Possibly. You never know. Maybe that's coming next, right? We had cement. What was it? Cement in your head? So why not cement in your ass? Right? Let's go. Let's do it.
Before we get into the third video, I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much to all of you guys. I know, yes, you were probably thinking I'm just gonna say the members. I love and appreciate my members, and I'm also thankful for all of y'all that simply just watch my videos. Whether you're subscribed or not, I don't care. Whether you're a silent viewer or not, you are appreciated. And if you would like to hit that join button, wherever it's gonna be, make sure that you don't have debt. Please, please, please. I don't care if you owe $1, $2, $3, do not have debt and press that button. The perks, if you are curious, do involve badges, early access to my videos, 2 extra videos per month, as well as a shout out like I'm doing with the names popping over here, 6'7", I'm sorry. I'm a Gen Z. If you guys didn't know, I look like a Hidden Figures right now. But I'm a Gen Z, and a lot of people think I'm either millennial, maybe some even think I'm a boomer. I'm not gonna prove how cool I am to people, but I must say I am a Gen Z at the end of the day. Let me know.
I'm gonna say this. This is a rude tactic. This is a rude tactic. It is. This is a very rude tactic. She's letting the Patreons run down, right? But keeps yapping. It's in the middle of the video. She's dragging out the watch time. That is so mean.
Not waste any more time yapping. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Let's get into the third video.
I always tell patients a youthful appearance is a full sort of fatter appearance, right?
A full face is a youthful face.
Right.
A full butt is a youthful butt, right?
And as we age, we lose the volume in these areas. Aloe clay is only approved for the body at this point. It is not approved for the face. We are primarily using it in 3 ways, right, Taylor?
Yep.
Rear ends, breasts, and sort of previous indentations or areas where
Correcting
corrected or had a poor liposuction experience. Primarily these days, we're using it for buttock enhancement, I would say, correct?
Right.
It's
Dr. Wilder's presentation was the smoothest of the 3, and by smooth, I mean it felt the most like a sales pitch. Groundbreaking, amazing new product, great frontier in plastic surgery. What stood out is that he confirmed that this is approved for the body, but not for the face. And he listed 3 main issues: BBLs, breast augmentation, and correcting botched liposuction. Now that last one, the cosmetic industry is now selling you the solution to its own mistakes. Just think about that for a second, please. What all 3 doctors did have in common is they're excited.
Interesting. Classic though, isn't it? Create problems, sell solution. That's a classic. Duck, don't leave, but I will. Well, not you. I'll be here for you, but still have to leave.
They're promoting, and not one of them mentioned what I'm about to tell you. I went to Aloe Claire's own website and I found 2 things that should be in every single one of those doctors' videos. Number 1 is that on their own website, they stated that a clinical study on aloe clay is currently running. Right now, they are collecting data at 1 month, 3 month, 6 month, 12 month. The study is not finished. The product is already on the market while the study is still in progress. Number 2, and this is one that really got me, when those doctors say Aloe Claire is FDA regulated, That is technically true, but
The problem is that the FDA, you can't really trust them because you have fucking a bajillion milligrams of lead in your baby food. I wouldn't really go by what they say. Duck, get a BBL, get a fat ass duck. I was called cute recently, so I cannot do that. Anyway.
it is not the full picture because aloe clay is classified as what's called 361 HCTP, which is human cell and tissue product. That classification means it does not go through the same approval process as a drug or medical device. It bypasses the standard FDA approval pathway entirely. And I know I do have some thoughts about FDA. I know some of y'all do have thoughts about FDA, but the fact still stands. It does not require the same long-term human safety testing that a drug would need before hitting the market. And I did not make that up. The FDA itself, when asked about aloe clay, directly said that they did not have enough information to determine how it should even be regulated. I'm gonna calm down. The regulatory body that is supposed to be overseeing this product said that they are still trying to figure out where it fits. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the product being out there if that's what the people are wanting. My issue is I'm gonna need to know exactly what I'm getting myself into if I am interested in that. So when you hear FDA regulated, understand what that actually means in this case. It means it follows tissue banking guidelines. It does not mean it went through a full approval process that drugs go through. There is a difference.
So this is a newer product and we currently have no evidence of this. There are ongoing studies to look at long-term complications, and those are still ongoing. However, we do a lot of cadaveric implants. These implants are decellularized, they're processed, and in general, there is no rejection and there is no evidence in the literature, in the data, of having anything hold over from the prior donor.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. When you start chasing a cosmetic standard that keeps changing every few years, you are walking down a path that does not end well. A few years ago, the standard was a ginormous BBL. Now those same people are reversing them. The standard will change again and again. It always does, but you cannot uninject a dead person's fat from your body. If there is anything to take away from this video, it's to do your own research.
I'm gonna straight up say it. This is just bait. They're just trying to. It's as usual, right? I 100% believe that most of the beauty industry is just a psyop to make money. They're just trying to sell solutions for problems that do not exist. Not a single person gives a shit about how your hip dips look. I don't even know what that is. What is that? I don't know. I always hear it. And before somebody told me about it, I didn't even know what it was. I don't know. I still don't know what it is. I forgot what it is because it doesn't matter. For most regular people don't give a shit. Usually, it's the ones that are already. See, the problem with cosmetic surgeries is that it's never enough. So you get the next thing. Oh, and then you find this spot. Oh, I can fix that one. Oh, and then that. Oh, wait. My left pinky toenail looks weird. Let's get a surgery for that. You get the idea. It is never enough because the problem is not the body. The problem is what's going on in the head.
Before you put anything foreign into your body, make sure that your surgeon is board certified and ask her or him plenty of questions. Trust me, if they're not sketchy, they will be more than happy to answer your questions. Make sure they are using an ultrasound. Ask yourself and be honest, is this a want for me or is this a need? Because your life is worth more than a hip dip correction. The beauty industry will always, and I I mean always, find a new way to make you feel like what you are is not enough. Your bone structure is not a problem, and don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. Let me know in the comments, are you shocked? Not shocked? Would you ever? I genuinely would like to know, and I'll see y'all next time.
I think it's just weird and morbid and kind of gross, which also means y'all are mentally ill. Pretty much, that's what it is. It's likely closer to body dysmorphia, right? Regardless. Yeah, I think just keep your hands away from this. You're just giving money to the wrong people. That's all, really. That's really all. You're giving money to the wrong people. That's really it.